Renting versus buying a house. That's the question of the day. Why do people do it? Why would you want to rent and live right next to somebody? I mean, the only thing separating you from your neighbor is a wall. I mean, why would anybody want to do that compared to buying a house? With a house, you have space, you have a backyard, front yard, you have a garage for parking your car, you have privacy. You can throw a party, a loud party in your house, and nobody's going to bother you. Well, I guess people have a misconception about buying a house, and they think they just can't afford to buy a house. But contrary to popular belief, yeah, say that 5 times fast. Contrary to popular belief, that's a tongue twister. But yeah, but but I digress. Um, I give you a scenario. There's people out here paying some crazy money out here for some rent, like $1,700 a month for one bedroom. $1,700 a month for a one bedroom apartment. That's crazy. Um, it's 2024 right now, and let's see, about 10 years ago. Well, currently I'm in Tampa right now, and about 10 years ago when I was in Atlanta, well, I lived in Atlanta for about 10 years, and I stayed in some pretty decent, pretty nice apartments. And I think the most expensive apartment that I had was a loft, upstairs, downstairs loft apartment. And that was running about 900, about 910. And it was in a nice area too. I mean, nice area. And that was about 10 years ago. And every now and then, well, let me back up. When I lived in Atlanta for those 10 years, I probably moved about 5 times. And each one of those apartments, they were all under $900. And they were all nice apartments. Bright sun, bright light, bright light. But yeah, all those apartments, they were all under $900 except for that last one, the loft. And every now and then I go back and check online to those same apartment complexes website, and the price is just out of control. It's ridiculous. I mean, that same apartment, it goes for about $1,800 right now. That same apartment that I lived in, it's almost doubled. I'm like, wow. And all the rest of them, they're all over 1,200, 14, 15, 16, $1,700. Just crazy prices. I'm like, and that was just a one bedroom. Uh-oh. I don't know what that was. I'm getting attacked out here. Okay. Back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Yeah, it was out of control, and I never paid that amount of money, back then. But now it's just out of control, like I was saying. And I don't see how people do it. I mean, you have the same job, same income, but your rent is almost double now. So say you're bringing in $4,000 a month rent, and your rent is like $1,800. That's almost half of your money going towards that apartment. Just giving them your money, and that's not including utilities and food and internet. So so let's see, a $1,700 apartment after all the dust settles, it'll probably run you about another $400 maybe. So about $2,100 is going towards your apartment. Wow. Yeah, that's wild. For a one bedroom apartment, it's about what, 800 square feet, 900 square feet, if that, because most apartments aren't that big. The biggest one I had was a little over 1,000 square feet, and it was not in the best neighborhood, but it wasn't in a terrible neighborhood. But most apartments around between 700 and 800 square feet, and you're paying almost $2,200 a month. And I know some of you are saying, where? I know my people up in New York and Chicago and DC and Dallas and the big cities, say LA, stuff like that, especially up north, New York. Oh, Miami. Wow. Now that was crazy. I stayed in Miami for about a year. I was like, I'm getting out of here. This is crazy. I was paying almost $1,000 a month for a studio. I mean, you know what a studio is? That's a box. That's like everything is in the same room. The kitchen is in the living room. The living room is in the bedroom. The bathroom is right there. It's just crazy. You just walk in and it's like one big open room. It's just, I was like, and I was paying almost $1,000 for that. But that was in a nice neighborhood. And if I wanted to pay a little less, like say 700, 800 a month, well, my cousins who live down there, who helped me find that place, they said, this is where you want to stay. Because if you trying to pay $650, $700 for rent, um, you might not have a car when you gonna wake up and go to work the next day. And you're gonna be looking for your car, and it's not gonna be there. So your best bet is to stay on the north side around the Aventura area and be happy. But yeah, it's crazy out there. This rent. So my question is to you: uh, you're living in an apartment and you're thinking about buying a house, or you might have not thought about buying a house. Well, let me ask you a couple questions about your apartment, though. Comparing apartments to houses. Living in an apartment compared to living to a house. How are the apartment rules at the apartment complex? You know, let's talk about some of the rules that they have. Like you can't be real noisy. All these dragonflies out here. What about the noise factor? You can't be real noisy. Um, your neighbors are like right there next to you. You turn your TV up too loud. Somebody's knocking on your wall. Doo, 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 doo. Like turn that noise down. Or you're trying to play some music while you're cooking, things like that. Let's see, should I go this way or that way? Let me turn around. I'm getting attacked over here by bugs. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. So here's another scenario. You in your good grief. You're in your apartment and you're say it's two of y'all in the apartment, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Y'all thinking about having a child, and now you're getting ready to enjoy yourself. Oh wow! Excuse the sound. It's military helicopters flying over. Wow! Look at this. I don't know if you can see that. Wow! There they go. I know what's going on. This is Sunday, 12:45 p.m. and the Buccaneers are about to kick off soon. And those helicopters probably just flew from the stadium. But anyway, nice little segue. But yeah, thanks for your service, guys. But yeah, like I was saying, so you and your spouse, your mate, you're thinking about having a child. So it's 10:30 p.m. You had a few adult beverages, and you're thinking about, hey, let's do it. So now you, y'all enjoying each other, and then there's you have noises that come out of the situation, and you walk out the door the next day, and your next door neighbor is looking at you like, mm, I know what you did last night. I could hear everything. So yeah, that's the noise factor, man. You know, but yeah, you're not gonna get in trouble for that. But let me ask you another question. This goes out to all the ladies out there living in apartment complexes. What about the trash situation? Garbage, garbage. You know, say you've been living with your parents all your life, and you had a brother or dad, and you never had to take out the trash, and then now you have an apartment, and now you have to take out the trash. That nasty, dirty trash. Okay. Now where is the trash? Is it right on the curb right there? When you come out of your house and you put the trash right there, doop, and you go back inside. Well, it's different in an apartment complex. They have an apartment complex. They have dumpsters, and when you take out your trash, you have to walk down the steps with that trash, or walk out your front door, and you have to walk all the way around the building through the parking lot, and there's an area where the dumpster is, and it's open, and you have to sling that trash bag over your shoulder, whoosh, doo, right into that dumpster. Morning, noon, and night, doesn't matter what time of day it is. You have to do it because nobody's gonna come pick up that trash for you. Now, here's the situation: you have to take out the trash pretty much almost every day in an apartment. You can't just let trash sit in the kitchen and fester because I guarantee you're gonna have gnats and stuff flying around. So you're gonna be walking out there with little bags of trash every day. Or if you forget to do it a couple of days, and then all of a sudden you come home from work, whatever, and you walk in that door and you're like, what is that funky smell? You know what that smell is? That's your trash. So now you have to run out there 10 o'clock at night and dump that trash, get it out your apartment. Oh, by the way, you can't just put it out outside your front door. You have to take that stuff and dump it. And then guess what's hanging around those trash cans? Uh, I tell you what, there are things that love trash, like possums and raccoons, things like that. They love hanging out those dumpsters. And listen to me, I'm gonna tell you this. I've seen this is a trip. One time I was dumping the trash, and I just kid you not, it was a raccoon and a possum in the dumpster, and they were tugging and fighting over the food in the trash, in the dumpster. I swear it looked like they had some food in their hand, like the raccoons. Raccoons have hands; they can grab stuff. The possums have those long mouths with the sharp teeth. So they're and they have hands too, but not like the raccoons. Raccoons have like thumbs and stuff. Get attacked by gnats out here. But yeah, I swear they were tugging on the food, fighting over it. It's crazy. Just like the gnats are fighting me right now. Getting attacked. But yeah, ladies, let me ask you the question: how would you feel if that was you and you had to keep doing that? Well, if you're doing it right now, you know what I'm talking about. So that's the trash situation. So how do you feel about taking out trash at your apartment complex compared to being in a house and you can just put the trash out right outside your driveway and be done with it? So now back to the apartment complex, of course. What about the parking situation? In a house, you drive into your house, you park right in front of your garage door, open the garage door, open it, and drive right on in. Mhm. Car secure. Or if you don't have a garage, you can just park right outside your house. And you can get out your car, you walk right in the side door or the front door. It's right there. It's probably like 10 feet. But an apartment complex is different. You might get lucky and get that park right outside your front door. You might get lucky. Might get lucky. Or you might have to park maybe on the next row. Or Here's a bad situation. If you get home late, say like after 6 or 7 o'clock, now everybody's home already. All the good spots are taken. Yeah, what are you gonna do? You have to park around the corner at the other building. Yeah, and then you have to walk. I mean, a long way, like 100 feet probably, to get to your front door. And you have these high heels on. And you have your bag, your purse. Oh, how about this? I'm gonna cut through this grass. How about this situation? What if you're going to get groceries? In a house. So you have 5, 6 bags of groceries. You're in the house. You just get the bags up and you're walking right in the front door. But in an apartment complex, what if you have to park on the other side of the building and now you have 7 or 8 bags of groceries and you're lugging these groceries back and forth across the parking lot? Does that sound familiar? I'm asking you. So how was the apartment parking where you live? Hmm. And let's talk about privacy. In a house, like I said, it's private. You can have a party, you can have a get together, you can crank up the music. Nobody's gonna bother you. You're doing your thing, enjoying life. But what about an apartment complex? Like I said, privacy and noise, they kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, you're trying to crank up your stereo. You're trying to have a sweet, soft conversation with your spouse or your mate. And your next door neighbor hearing everything. They putting the ear right to the wall. They can like eavesdrop, hear everything you're doing. Or, ooh, how about this one? This happened to me one time. I don't know if this is, well, this is not privacy. This is just the inconvenience of living right next to somebody. Uh, I was, I always stay upstairs for number one. I never get a first floor apartment because of bugs and flooding and stuff like that. I always get the second floor. But I'm sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden I hear this noise underneath my feet. I mean, it was just nonstop. I'm like, what in the world? Did not know what that sound was. So it went on for about 15, 20 minutes. It just won't stop. So I decided to get up and just go outside. Like, what is this? Because I looked around the apartment. Nothing was in my apartment making that noise. So I went outside my door, and the breezeway. Oh, there's an echo in here. Is the breezeway leading to the stairs? It was all smoked up, like smoky. I'm like, I'm coughing. Like, what in the world? So I'm like, is something on fire? So I run down the steps, do, and go to the parking lot. And there's people outside the building where I'm living in. And I get down to the first floor, and the apartment right under mine, the door was open, and there was smoke just blowing out of that door. I mean, I'm like, what in the world? Right underneath my apartment. So I'm running out to the parking lot, and people standing outside. I'm standing outside, and then eventually the fire department shows up, and they go in there, and well, let me back up. The sound was there was this automatic sprinkler system that kicked in the ceiling. It was, flooding their apartment underneath mine, but I could hear the noise on the second floor. And well, the fire department, they came and they shut everything down. They went in and checked everything out, turned it all off, and eventually everything went back to normal. And everybody was looking at the people who live in that apartment like, you idiot, like what were they doing? You're in the kitchen cooking and burning food and stuff catches on fire. I'm like, see, that's apartment living. Now, here's the situation. What if I was out of town or something, and what if it actually caught on fire? underneath my apartment, and the building caught on fire, and I'm out of town. I get back, and the building's burned to the ground. All my stuff is gone. And I know you're probably saying, "Well, get you some apartment insurance." That's not the point. The point is you're you're at the will of your neighbors. You know their habits, their behaviors, whatever they do. If it's damaging to the building, it's going to damage your stuff too. So that's the bad side, negative side of living in an apartment complex. It's just somebody arguing, having a bad argument, or smoked out, drinking her hard, partying hard. I mean, you're right there. So hold on a second. Yeah, you're a victim of the circumstance because you're living right next door to those fools, those knucklehead neighbors, and it's just not a cool situation. So what do you do now? I mean, what's the next step if you're sick and tired of that situation? Well, I mean, you can just buy a house, get out of that situation. People are saying, yeah, it's easy for you to say, I don't have a 800 credit score, or I don't have 20% down payment on a house for a $400,000 house. By the way, what's 20% of $400,000? That's $80,000. Like, what average working person? I mean, you working at a restaurant, waiting tables, or you might be a manager, assistant manager at the pizza place down the street, or you might be an accountant, or I mean, you might be driving forklifts, or you might be a manager at a warehouse, or whatever. Just normal average day jobs. I know you're saying, well, what do you think somebody like that has 60, 70, $80,000 sitting in the bank account saved up just to say, oh, here you go, Mr. Banker, I want to buy this house? People, majority of people don't have it like that. So, well, let me tell you this: there there's certain loans out there that you can get where you don't have to put that much money down on a house. Yeah, they're FHA loans, first time home buyer loans, things like that. Or if you're in the military or you're retired or something like that, there's zero down payment loans for veterans. So there are hundreds of loans that you can apply for. You can't be scared to just open the door and just ask. All they can do is tell you no. So, and I guarantee you, if you have a job, a decent paying job, and you have a credit score about 640, 650 or higher, you should be good to go. I'm like, come on, because 650 or higher, that shows that you're a good. I won't say not a good person, but you're a trustworthy person that pays their bills and they keep the credit pretty good. You're not late on anything. You're just going through the motions. So the bank looks at that kind of stuff. And if you're getting a regular paycheck, you should be good to go. And of course, you're gonna have to get pre-qualified and get pre-approved and everything. Make sure the debt to income ratio is pretty good. And yeah, we'll talk about that on another video about debt to income ratios. But yeah, basically that is in about one sentence. The ratio of your debt to income has to be to the point where you can afford to actually pay your mortgage payment, your monthly payment, and still have money left over to live your life. And you won't be like down to zero after you make your payment. Just for instance, it saves you bringing $4,000 a month on your income, and you're paying, see, $1,200 a month on a payment. Now you have about what's that, like $2,000 left over to live your life and do other things. So that's probably a good situation right there. But if you're bringing home $2,500 a month and your payment is $1,200, that's almost half. Like by the time you pay your payment, you only have like $1,300 more left to live, and they'll probably tell you no. The debt to income ratio is like crazy. But yeah, so that's your next step. Just try to get yourself pre-qualified for a loan, just to see where you are. You never know. You never know. You never know. You never know. Trust in yourself. Have confidence in yourself. I mean, do you want to continue spending crazy money on rent, $1,700 a month on rent, when you can spend that same amount of money per month and be living in a 3 bedroom, 2 bath house? I know you're saying, like, where can I find a house like that for $1,700 a month? Plenty, plenty places. Many, plenty places around this country. But I'll tell you one thing, it won't be in the inner city near the all the amenities and the upper class areas. It'll be probably on the outskirts of the city where houses are cheaper, especially if you live in a not a big city or a smaller city, like Tupelo, Mississippi, Plant City, Florida, Hinesville, Georgia, smaller cities. You can find great properties for cheap. I see it all the time. Houses like like mini mansions going for like 350, $400,000. It's crazy. So yeah, you can do it. Oh yeah, by the way, when you buy a house like that on the outskirts or in a country town out on the outskirts, yeah, you're gonna pay the money in gas because you're gonna have to commute more. Yeah, you're gonna be commuting more. But who would you rather have? You rather live in the inner city, paying crazy amount of money to live in a box apartment and be close to your job and deal with all that stuff we talked about earlier, or would you rather be in your own house, relax, kick back, might have a pool in the backyard, privacy fence? Oh, just come on. You got all that paying the same amount of money, and instead of getting to work in 10 minutes, you're getting to work in about 30 minutes due to the traffic. Yeah, it takes you a little longer to get to work, and you spend a little more on gas, but it's the lifestyle now. You have a house, you can invite people over. That's what it's all about. So I'm just saying, we're just talking. What are your thoughts? I love to hear your comments. So we continue this conversation with another topic similar to this one. Trust me, I have plenty more topics. If that's a how do you say it? Plenty more topics. I have many more topics to talk about. So right about now, I'll see you.